Hi, I'm Briony Kennedy, and today I'm going to show you my favorite go-to elegant, sophisticated, and timeless look that suits most people. So I'm going to start with our primer. Okay, so ADORN's moisturizing primer, which is a 2-in-1 product. I've already put that on just to save time. And today I'm going to show you how to combine the hydrating cream foundation, which is in a stick, with the loose mineral foundation over the top. So this look is for people who want really flawless, camera ready finish. Maybe you're not completely happy with your skin, maybe you've got an event to go to, maybe you just want some really good coverage, but something that's really timeless and elegant and nothing too out there. Okay, so I've already popped the primer on. I'm now going to put the hydrating cream foundation on, and the color that I'm choosing today is the medium olive. Now it is a little bit dark for me. I'm a bit paler than that at the moment, but I'm going to use this as my base, and I'm going to then use a lighter loose mineral foundation over the top. The reason I'm doing that is that even though this is darker than my actual skin, it's still the same base. So it's still a yellow, more of a yellow base for me. So I'm just gonna draw this all over my face, including my bags and this part of your neck, because it tends to be quite pale there. Now the reason I'm using a slightly darker cream foundation is because I just want to give a little bit of warmth to my face, but without looking a lot darker. Okay, so you can increase the darkness of your face just by choosing a foundation that's a little bit darker but still the same tone. Okay, now because I am paler than this color, the color of the loose minerals I'm going to buff over the top is light to medium. If I put the medium olive loose on the medium olive cream, then I would look obviously too dark for my natural color. So a little trick, if you're trying to warm up your makeup, you can either stick to the color that you are and warm that up with a bronzer, or you can do what I'm doing today and combining the two. Now I'm also going to, before I buff this in with the kabuki brush, okay, I am going to put on a little bit of the Skin Illuminizer. So this is the liquid illuminizer. I'm just gonna pop half a pump onto the brush, and I'm just gonna dot that so it's evenly around the face, mainly on the cheekbones and the forehead. And the reason I love this product is because it gives a really healthy dewiness to the skin. Okay, and so then I buff the two products in together. Now if you had more of a oilier complexion, you might want to do the combination of the liquid mineral foundation and the loose over the top, because the liquid's more of an oil-free product. I like the cream because it's got very good coverage, but it's also got the shea butter, the jojoba oils and things like that in there for a more dehydrated skin. Okay, so for me, being a bit more of a mature skin, I do find that this just gives me that extra coverage while keeping it really nice and dewy. So an oilier complexion, you may be able to use this, but you might need to use a setting powder as well. Okay, so I like to just buff a little bit over my ears, and again, the neck area. Now I'm not going to put too much of the cream down my neck because I'm going to lift this color with the loose minerals. Okay, now I like to put foundation on my neck and my décolletage. The reason for that is because I like to get the SPF coverage. I also think we do have a lot of our sun damage there, so it's a really telltale sign of our age and also the quality of our skin. So for me, I do like to put foundation on my neck, and obviously the main focus would be the loose minerals, as they're water and sweat resistant, so they're less likely to come off on your clothes. Okay, so I'm happy with the coverage of the cream foundation at the moment. Now, before I set the loose minerals down, I am going to just put a little bit of brow dust on first. Okay, the reason I'm going to put my brow dust on first is because I'll probably get a little bit of fallout, and I don't want that mixing with my foundation. So angle brush, okay, and I am using the Peggy Brow Dust, which is a really nice taupe brown color. Okay, I like to give my eyebrows a bit of a brush first, just so that the brow dust goes in nicely into the hairs. Okay, now if you want more information on how to do your brows, you can check out the tutorial page, which will show you this in a little bit more detail. I do like to comb the brow dust through my brow as well, because I just find that it separates the lashes, separates the brow dust, so it looks more natural. Okay, now I'm going to just quickly dust away any fallout. And now I'm going to put on the light to medium loose minerals. Using about this much at a time and pressing it into the lid. Pressing it into the lid pushes it onto the brush. It gives a lot more coverage and it's less messy. So you can see how flawless this side is compared to this side. Okay, so I could put a light dusting on this with a bigger brush with the loose minerals if I was happier with that coverage, but I just wanted to give a little bit more. But if I wanted the really flawless camera ready finish that you see so often on social media, then you might choose to use the kabuki brush as well to press the minerals on. Using the kabuki brush to press the minerals on will give a lot more coverage and it will make it much more flawless on the skin. Okay, so I'll finish off this side. And at this point, the minerals on the brush, I do like to go down my neck as well, just to give the illusion that I'm a little bit browner than I am, or a bit warmer than I am. Now you could put it on your décolletage as well, okay, so just popping it on here, just to give a little bit of extra colour to the face. And there you have really super flawless foundation coverage. The medium olive in the hydrating cream and then the loose minerals in light to medium over the top. Okay. Okay, now I'm just going to go over my brows again a little bit more. Just tapping off any excess. I've done most of it, but I just want to give it a little bit more depth. Now that the foundation's on, I can see that I just want a little bit more definition. And we haven't put any concealer on yet, so if you did get a little bit more fallout from the brow dust at this point, you can still quite easily wipe that away. Okay, perfect. All right, so just wipe away any fallout there. So now my next step is to do my eyes, okay? I'm not gonna conceal under my eyes just yet. I'm not doing my blush or any other skin products at the moment. I'm just gonna focus on doing a really classic timeless look on my eyes. And then that way, if I do get any fallout, then it's just falling onto fresh skin and not any concealer. Because obviously if we put concealer on and then you have eyeshadow fall on that, it's wasting time and obviously it'll mix in and make your dark circles look worse. All right, so if you're looking for something that's really quick and easy, my tip would be to purchase one of the chubby pencils. The color I'm going to use today is the Smoky Quartz eyeliner crayon. These particular crayons are great as eyeliners. You can use them as eyeshadow as well. They're really beautiful to blend. You can use them with an angle brush to get a really crisp line. Use them just as they are for a really soft line, as I said, or you can use them as an eyeshadow. So the classic look that I'm going to use today is just me putting a little bit of the crayon on the edge here and just into the socket of my eye. Okay, so there's no particular nice way of doing it. I'm just popping it there. So it's like a C. Now I'm just putting it in the crease because I'm going to blend it up onto the brow bone. Now, if you had I suppose, a hooded eye, you might decide to put the chubby crayon or the eyeliner crayon the whole way across the eye to create the illusion that you do have an eyelid. So you would just fill the whole area in and then blend that up onto the brow bone. Okay, so grabbing a round brush from our 7-piece kit, I'm just going to really roughly blend this in. Okay, now I'm not going to spend too much time blending this in too much because I'm going to put an eyeshadow over the top of it, and the eyeshadow and the chubby crayon together will lock together, giving much more definition. The eyeshadow will set down the crayon as well. So if you're wanting to use eyeshadow on its own, it often won't be as impactful without putting some sort of a cream underneath. So whether that's a bit of concealer on the eyelid or a crayon or an eyeliner underneath the eyeshadow, the two together will give a really vivid, more of a vibrant color or a more deeper color, and it'll also help stay put on your eye. So I'm just really using the crayon just to get it onto my eye, and then I'm going to seal it down with an eyeshadow in a moment. If you find that you've got too much on your brush, have a tissue handy so that you can wipe your brush and get any excess off so that you don't end up with your eyes being too dark. So it's always a tip to have a free tissue around just to use that to get any excess off. Now again, don't worry about the blending too much at this point. Just get the crayon into the socket of the eye to give a little bit of definition, and when we get to the eyeshadow, we'll blend it seamlessly in a moment with a couple of really amazing tips that I'm sure you'll think, oh, that's the answer to really even looking, smoky looking, timeless eyes. Now I'm just going to make this one a little bit darker. Okay, so now it's time for eyeshadow. I'm going to grab the eyeshadow color that I'm going to use is the Peggy Topaz. Okay, so it's a topaz color. Sorry, not Peggy, that's the brow dust. This is the topaz color in the eyeshadow range. Okay, it's a really nice taupe, and I love it because it's a timeless color that suits most people and it's quite easy to use. So grab a little bit on the same brush, just tap off any excess or tap it into the lid just to get any excess off, and then you're going to just place this on the eye. Now placing the brow dust or eyeshadow or any sort of powder that you're really happy with in respects to the colour over the top of the cream will give a really nice intense colour. The two together lock and give a longer lasting finish on the eyes. You can see how that's just really nicely and seamlessly blended well together. Again, keep dabbing your tissue. If you've got too much on, just keep dabbing your tissue. Now, I just want you at this point to get this colour on, or the depth of colour on, in a way that you're happy. Look at your eyes, make sure they're even, but don't worry about blending any of this at the moment because you've got a dirty brush at the moment that's full of the brown, and if you were to keep blending, this is just going to go up into the brow and it's going to look really dark, and then you end up with the panda eyes, or that look that everybody says when they've been trying to do a classic or a smoky eye, they end up looking too dark. Okay, so at this point, we're now going to grab a clean brush. Now, I promise you, this is the best tip that you'll ever hear, is just always have a clean brush or an eyeshadow brush around so that you can make your eyes look like you've been seamlessly blending them for hours, okay? So all you need to do is get your clean brush, and just where you can see the edge here and you want that to disappear, you're going to gently tickle that away. See, look at that. The same down here, I'm just going to blend that up. We don't want to blend it down, giving a puppy dog look. Okay, so that looks like I've spent ages blending that eye. Okay, and I'll show you a little trick just to blend in here. You can either use the same brush to blend that away, or you can go and grab a nude colored eyeshadow or something that's more of a paler color and just pop that there, and doing that over the top will blend that part of the eyeshadow in the middle. So again, clean brush, I'm just tickling this away. And the ends, I'm just tickling them upwards. Now, when I started, my eyes looked messy, the crayon was everywhere. I was just putting it on so that it was in the right place. Okay, so really on this outer third of your eye, just before it hits the iris, just put it there quite thick, put it into the crease of your eyelid and your eye socket. Put it in quite heavy, because when you start blending it, it will blend away. You'll end up with half the color that you started with. Okay, and then if you need to top up a little bit more, grab your chubby again and just blend some more in. Don't worry about it looking seamless, because at that point it won't. You get your eyeshadow that you want to use, whether it's a brown or a purple or some sort of other color, and then you blend that over the top by just placing it on and then grabbing a clean brush at the end and then just very gently tickling away the edges that way as well, so that it looks like you've spent hours doing your eyes when in fact you haven't. Okay, so I'm going to just put a little bit with my clean brush, a little bit of the loose mineral illuminizer on this part of my eye, because as I said a moment ago, that will blend away this part of the eyeshadow. So I guess when you're looking for this sort of darker, more sophisticated, timeless look, you don't need to spend hours blending. It's just get the dark color on and then use a clean brush to blend or self-blend away any of the edges. Okay, so that's my eyes done. If I wanted to, I could put a little bit more of a heavy eyeliner along there. I could put a little bit of black eyeliner underneath my lashes as well if I wanted to increase the look of my lashes. But for me, this is a really timeless look that's quite elegant, that isn't too, I suppose, it's versatile, day to night. So that's what I really like about this eye look. Okay, I'm going to clean up underneath my eyes now just to remove any of the eyeshadow that might have fallen. And now I'm going to move on to concealer. So the Peachy Sleep concealer is my favorite, especially because I suffer from dark circles under my eyes. Okay, and I just grab about this much, I pop it on my 2 ring fingers, and I blend in the corner of my eye onto the dark circles. Now you could put concealer on before your eyes if you really wanted to, especially if you're not doing anything that's particularly too heavy, but I do find that putting the concealer on after is much more flattering, okay? Especially if your eyeshadow's gone too far down, you can use the concealer just to sweep the eyeshadow up like that. Okay, so that's perfect. It's just blended away any dark circles I had underneath my eyes. Now, you could pop some of the concealer around your nose if you're quite red around there. Inside your nose, like I've got quite high nostrils, so I find that for me, I like to put a bit of concealer in there. So if you're quite veiny and you can see inside your nostrils, that's a little tip. Don't forget in your nostrils. If you're wearing your hair back, you might need to put a bit of foundation at the back of your neck there as well, okay? If you're a little bit red here, you could pop a little bit of the Peachy Sleep there. Okay, so it's really just popping the concealer on after your foundation coverage. All right, so now that my skin's looking really flawless, I'm happy with my eyes, I'm going to now move on to just giving it a really quick contour. Okay, now you can do this with a contour stick, you could do it with an actual contour product, but ideally, or essentially what a contour is just making areas of your face look darker than the other parts of your face. Why do you do that? Making areas look darker makes that particular spot look smaller and enhances other areas that look lighter. So for example, if you were to put some contour down here, this is going to look darker, making your cheekbones look bigger. Okay, if you've got a bigger forehead, you might want to put some contour around here, minimizing the appearance of your forehead. If you've got a large nose, you might want to put a little bit of contour on the side of your nose, shrinking the look of your nose. So there's lots of things that you can do with a contour color. Even if you've got a bit of a neck that you're not happy with, making your neck area a little bit darker than your face, or even just along the jaw, will make your neck look smaller or more defined. Okay, so there's lots of things you can do. Essentially, a contour product is just a product that is a little bit darker than your foundation. So you can use a bronzer, you can use a slightly darker foundation, which is what I like to do. And so the color that I love using for this particular look is the Cocoa foundation. Okay, so if you're light to medium in our colors, you might find that dark tan, cocoa might be okay, medium tan even. So you might just want to take a next step up in your foundations, or for this you might want to try the winter bronzer. Okay, so the technique that I show you for a really quick contour is a 3. So it's essentially running along your hairline, underneath the cheekbones, back right to this part of your ear and along the jawline. Okay, so it's a 3, and that's a really quick contour that suits most people. And what that does is it gives you a healthy glow. Now, I'm not a big fan of just wearing foundation on its own. I think it looks quite gaunt, and I think that when you've got foundation on its own, it tends to look like you've got more makeup on than if you've introduced extra color for dimension. So essentially, the contouring for me is more about creating dimension and more of a natural finish rather than defining my face. So I've popped it along here, right in my ear, underneath my cheekbone and along my jawline. Okay, so you can already see this side of my face looks so much healthier than this side of my face. Okay, now if you put too much on and you think, wow, I look way too bronzed, or maybe you've just put a big blob, like you can see a little bit there, you just grab your kabuki brush when you at the end and you just go over the top of it. And the kabuki brush always has a bit of foundation on it, and it's going to be your corrector. So I love the kabuki brush for that reason, because no matter what mistakes I make, the kabuki brush with that little bit of foundation on it will always blend it away. In particular, if you stuff up your bronzer on your cheeks or your blush, then the kabuki brush would be awesome to help rectify that. Okay. Now what's left on the brush now, I'm just going to put a little bit on the side of my nose, and I'm just gently going to blend downways and just across my mouth. So I'm not adding any color, but I'm just using the remnants or the rest of the Cocoa foundation that's on this brush just to sweep all over my face to bring it all together. Now, I'm not really happy with how much I've put there, so again, I'm going to grab the kabuki brush and I'm just going to sweep over that and see how that's just disappeared. So it doesn't matter how professional you are, how long you've been doing your makeup for, we all make mistakes, and that's what these tutorials are about, is to show you that you can always fix them without starting again. The tools that you've got are there for multi reasons, they're not just serving one purpose. So use your kabuki brush, have a spare eyeshadow brush handy. So all of these extra spare little brushes that you can have will always help blend away any mistakes that you make. Okay, now if you are somebody who suffers from your eyeshadow and your eyeliner not staying, maybe even your concealer doesn't stay as well as you'd like, you could get a large brush to just gently sweep over some of the setting powder. Okay, the setting powder looks white, but it goes on clear, so you could definitely do that. Just bear in mind that whilst it will help set it, nothing keeps makeup on your face all day unless it's got some really heavy chemical in it that would be questionable to me. ADORN makeup is very long wearing, and especially if you're using the loose minerals, they're the most long wearing out of all of our products because there's nothing else in them. But ultimately, if you're struggling with something staying put, try a setting powder over the top. It will tone your eyes down a little bit, so don't put too much on. Okay, so just very gently seal it over the top, okay? And that will just help that stay a little bit longer. All right, so now that I'm going to move on to my cheeks, okay, before I totally finish off my mascara and my eyes, this is a really simple look for spring as well. So for any season, in fact, I mean, as I said, we're going through a really timeless, elegant look, but this is one of my favorite little tips if you are looking for something for an event. Maybe you don't want to have too many products in your makeup bag, maybe you just want to take one thing to work just to freshen up your makeup, then I would definitely invest in the eyeliner crayon. As I said, you might not have eyes like this at the beginning of the day at work, you might just have a bit of mascara on, but if you've got something like this in your bag and an eyeshadow brush, you could just smudge it in real quickly, look like you've got awesomely done eyes. And then if you have one of the lip crayons in your bag as well, then you can very quickly turn your makeup to fresh, vibrant, but it does lips and cheeks. So I'll show you how you do that. This particular color that I'm using is the natural pink, okay, and I'm going to rub it on my ring finger, and then I'm just going to put some on my other ring finger. The natural red lip crayon's really a really nice cheek stain as well. So at this time of the year when things start to get a little bit more, we get more time poor, we're rushing from work, or maybe we've got to pick kids up, or whatever we're doing, and then we've got to rush to an event. Having products that do lots of things are ideal, and that's what I love about these lip crayons. Like, how beautiful and soft is the natural pink lip crayon as a blush color? It's just my favorite. I really, really love it. So beautiful, fresh, spring or any season, but in particular spring cheeks. The lip crayons are amazing as cheek stains. You can use the cream blushes as well, of course, but this is probably one of my favorite colors for that. All right, I'm also going to put some of this on my lips. Now, these do need to be sharpened. They're not a wind-up pencil, so you do need to get yourself a big sharpener, and then they will just sharpen down like a normal pencil. Okay, so that's the lips. Now, if you want to make your lips look a little bit bigger, grab yourself a Q-tip, an earbud, whatever you call them, or a clean brush again, and just put a little bit of the illuminizer on your Cupid's bow. Now, this creates the illusion of bigger lips by giving a really nice curl to the lips. You could even put a bit underneath. And you can even put a little bit of it just down these parts of your lip. Okay, so that just gives the illusion of a bigger looking lip. All right, now while I'm using the loose illuminizer, I am now going to use this as my final skin finishing product. I'm going to pop it around the temples here. I don't really grab much at all, it's just a tiny little amount. Blending it on the lid. I always blend all my products into the lid so that it goes into the bristles. And I'm putting it as a C around my temple area, a little bit across my forehead, and a little bit down my nose. So this is beautiful, fresh, healthy looking skin in just one little pot. Perfect for spring, any season, but if you're trying to get really dewy looking skin, the loose illuminizer and the liquid illuminizer together are just amazing. So the liquid I used with my cream stick at the same time, and then the loose you use as a finishing product. It's a beautiful eyeshadow. It's also great to use underneath the brows so that you can enhance the arch or enhance the look of a brow. So you just put it a little bit under here. Again, multi-purpose products. So when you've got a brand that's toxin-free, allergen-free, cruelty-free, all of those amazing accreditations, you know that you can put eyes on lips, lips on eyes. Everything's versatile and multi-purpose, which is great for the budget, great for the environment, because you don't need as much to create looks. All right, so now what I'm going to do is curl my lashes. It's definitely something I do every day. How amazing are these curlers? Okay, so you just grab your lashes and just gently pull upwards. Now, if you want longer looking lashes naturally without lash extensions, this is the way to go. It makes a massive difference to your eyelashes. Okay, so the lash primer is something that I would put on next. It's coming in this particular container, okay, and that would give longer looking lashes, okay. And then I would pop the mascara over the top. Now, just to save time, and also I'm not a big fan of doing mascara into the tutorials. I find it a little bit dangerous. I'm going to skip the primer technique, but I do promise you that it's the difference between long, lush, amazing looking lashes, and it's something that I do put on every day, but I'm just going to jump straight to the mascara. I just find that tutorials with mascara in them are a little bit scary, to be honest, so I'm just going to put a little bit of this on the outside. Now, one of the tips that I always give with mascara is that you focus on the outer third. Okay, so again, it's not so much in the middle lashes because then you tend to get this starfish look. It's focusing on the outer lashes. Focusing on the outer lashes makes your eyes look bigger, more open, and it also creates the illusion that your eyelashes are longer than they are as well. So right into the roots. Now, while the top's drying a little bit, I'm going to put just a little bit on the bottom outer lashes. If you don't have any lashes on the bottom or they're very sparse, then I would not put mascara on them. You're only going to enhance how little your lashes look. Okay, so miss this step under the lashes and I'll show you what you can do to define your eyes in a moment. So now I'm just turning the brush around facing my eye and I'm tickling the ends to give more of length on the ends of my lashes. If you keep loading up the whole lash with mascara, they get heavy, they weigh down, and they don't end up looking as long as you would like them to. So it's a really good tip to just change the angle of the brush and just tickle these outer lashes. All right, so for those of you that want even more definition, maybe you don't have great lashes underneath your eye, you just want to vamp this look up to be even more sophisticated, grab your favorite eyeshadow. I'm again just using the same one that I used on the top, which is the Topaz. I'm using an angle brush, and of course this is an angle brush from ADORN's vegan 7-piece brush kit, and I am just putting it on the outer third of my eyes. Okay, just to the iris. Now, the reason I don't put it the whole way along is that for most people that will close your eye up, especially if you're a bit older as well. I find that it tends to look a little bit more harsh. Brown is much more flattering than using a black eyeliner underneath your eyes as well. Okay, so not many people I feel can pull off black. That's up to you, but I do think go with a brown and just take it to this part of your iris. It's much more flattering than running it the whole way across. Using a black eyeliner just creates a really flat look to the bottom of the eyes, makes the eyes look smaller as well. So if you can, I'd stick to the darker browns. Okay, so for me, I am going to pop a little bit of gloss over the top of the lip crayon, and then I'm done. I love lip gloss. I just find it gives that healthy look to the lips. I suffer from dry lips. You can see they're a little bit dry. So for me, I love the boldness of a lipstick, but I also love the softness that a gloss gives the top of the lipstick. Yes, you're going to have to apply it a little bit more, but I do think it's much more forgiving, especially if you have smaller lips as well. Lipstick can draw attention to the fact that your lips are smaller, depending on the color that you have selected. So if you are looking for this look, you can break it up into sections. You can look back, take your time. I promise with a little bit of practice, you will eventually get it. Hopefully some of these tips have helped you out for what I have as my go-to everyday flawless look. And now I just need to do something with this hair.